Yeah. Hello, everyone. We are live and happy Friday. My name is Dr. AI. Welcome to the What is School For show. I'm the host of this live streaming show and the CEO of Classroom Without Walls. On this show, I interview amazing leaders from education, from business, from different walks in life, in different professions, to come here to share with us their biggest life lessons, and we discuss, debate, disrupt education, hoping to future-proof the next generation. And today I have a superstar on the show, as you guys can see from the title, Dana on the show to really talk about his journey, like in musical career and how far he has come. And this is such an inspiration. And Dana, I actually discovered him inside this year's LinkedIn Creator Accelerator program. The second that I and Dana, I discovered him, connected with him, I was like, oh my God, I was just so impressed by his background. I watched several of your videos, Dana. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's like Hollywood level production. This is really amazing. And for those of you who don't know Dana Leong, and he is the U.S. musical ambassador, a multi-Grammy Award winner, UBS Global Visionary, and the World Economic Forum Young Global Leader. And as I mentioned earlier, he's also the recipient, one of the recipients of this year's LinkedIn Creator Accelerator program. That's where I discovered this amazing genius. So I'm really excited and honored to have you on the show, Dana.
Thank you, Dr. I. Yes, what a great way to start the day. And I'm equally impressed with the amount of wonderful inspiration you're giving to the young people and their parents in the world. And I think it's very necessary what you're doing. So thank you for that great work. And thank you for the wonderful
Oh,
introduction.
thank you so much. I didn't expect that. So really appreciate it. So let's get started. So today, this is going to be a shorter interview compared to most of my long interviews. So, but we are going to drop so much value. So share with us, Dana, from like San Francisco Conservatory of Music to Manhattan School of Music and to Harvard University, and then like a multi-Grammy winner. So when you look at your own journey, what do you think are some of the biggest factors that contributed to your success?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I think that, my greatest success is hopefully yet to come. And every day I
That's the
look at
choice.
the mindset and I'm inspired by folks like yourself that are
Mhm.
introspective about what is your strategy, what are the smart ways to work, and how do you align your true purpose with your, you know, path towards happiness?
Mhm.
How do you align with what truly sparks joy and what brings meaning to your life? So I think as a younger person, I would hope that you find those dreams quite early
Mm,
when nobody tells you there's a limit.
mm,
Everybody wants to be a ballerina or an astronaut or
mm,
a scientist or something really amazing when they're a very young child, and uh, we always have to continue to find that balance as we grow older, so that we can
I would hope that.
continue to embrace and include
Mm,
the things that make us feel most resonant in our life.
mm,
So, for example, for me right now, what that looks like is I recognize that my fundamental kind of frequency and my fundamental sense of enjoyment comes from being able to include the music that I love every day, eating healthy and eating good food that I enjoy, seeing the people that I love, uh, and also being able to use my body to exercise and to move and to
mm.
bring vibrance and health into my life. And if you build that foundation every day in a regimen, then you can go in and you can face a lot of the more difficult tasks that lie at hand, whether it's studying for getting into a better university, looking for a better job, networking in places that maybe you feel shy to go into.
Mm.
But really you need to build and nourish that fundamental frequency.
I love that, and I so agree with you. If someone can actually discover their passion, the spark in their early days, and knowing that there's no limit, that would be amazing. Unfortunately, that's not many of us. So, like, how did you discover your passion for music? I actually watched quite a few of your videos, and I could just feel the passion, the joy. Your eyes were closed. It's like, wow, I was in the flow, even though I was like across computer screen, but I felt as if I were there in the live audience. So I can tell it's really aligned with your true passion. So how did you discover music, or how did music discover you?
Wow, thank you so much for taking time to enjoy the videos and enjoy the music. I'm glad it actually translates through the screens,
Mm.
being that that is our kind of majorative way of consuming content these days. I sure hope that we'll be able to do some more things live together as well as time goes on.
Mm.
ASAP, we need that live interaction, that transfer of energy. Uh, in terms of my finding my passion, I think I was lucky that my mother
Mm.
is a musician as well. She used to be a TV star in Japan, playing music and singing and
Wow.
dancing on national TV, NHK, for a number of years. And my father was a scientist. So I think that I had kind of the DNA that was kind of both geared towards analytics, geared a little bit towards business, and geared towards creativity and
Mm.
loving the arts. However, I think that also uh, through trial and error, I quickly recognized, not only what my passion was, but what my passion was not.
Mm.
I recognized that, music is something that I enjoy the most, and I love the ability to, transform someone's life in just a moment,
Mm.
with music. And the way that I get to that kind of distilled element is I approach it a little bit like when you're cooking and you just kind of find the ingredients that you love the most,
Mm.
and you remember those flavors and you remember what function they have. I remember certain frequencies and certain sounds and certain harmonies that make me feel a certain way, and I hope that by including those into my own musical recipe, I'm able to then transfer that energy back to the audiences.
Mm, I love that. I really love that combination of the creative and the analytical. So thank you for sharing that. I would definitely share this because many of the students I work with, even after 4 years in college, they still really struggle with like, what do I really need to do? So that's great. So here's a great question from Dan, and talking about financial security, and I think that is like almost like a social stigma, right? I feel like, oh, if you want to major in music, pursue this is extremely hard, extremely challenging. So what do you say about that? What recommendation do you have to pursue this career path while to take care of themselves financially?
Yeah, Dan, you're absolutely right. Now is one of the most challenging times. I think that uh, hopefully you can look at the atmosphere and try to go somewhere where you can swim with the flow. That may be, relocating yourself to a place where,
Mm.
the industries are healthy. I know that that's a very difficult proposition at the moment, with markets being kind of globally uh, a little bit stifled. Uh, but in our experience, when I went to New York, it was a very healthy market, and there was
Mm.
always a lot of inspiration, both creatively, but also I won't say financially, but opportunistically. There was
Mm.
always people inventing, new genres of music,
Mm.
very enterprising in terms of starting up new series of music. So being surrounded by other doers and being in a healthy environment is absolutely key to success. Now, if you are somewhere where you cannot, then you have to do like Dr. I or myself or a number of other folks who are building their communities online and really seeking out those like-minded individuals through online community connections.
Mm. I love that. And what would you say were some of the biggest strategic moves that you did after college, Dana, to really help? I think that that very first dollar, that very first like opportunity is always the very hardest. So what were some of the most strategic moves that you did right after college to really
So,
kick off your career?
not every path is replicable. I think that you can take notes from the recipes,
Mm.
but just as a disclaimer, right? For me, uh, I always loved performing, and that's still
Mm.
something that I really love to do, is to compose music and then get it in front of live audiences, and really, like I said, uplift people and really kind of you know, make sparks with live
I can
audiences.
feel the sparks
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. And so one of the things I did when I first started coming out of college is I opened my own studio, And we were producing and creating music for ourselves as well as other artists in my own bands and whatnot. And I realized every time I would go out of town to go on tour, the studio would kind of come to a stop. So I decided actually to, one of the pivotal moves that we made was to transform the business model so that the studio could make music for on screen. And what that means is anything you see on screen, whether it's a game, it's a movie, it's a commercial, it's a documentary, it's sound design, it's for brands, it's for high-end activations, whether it's a fashion show or a big conference or whatnot. And we found that we were able to then work with and bring on other composers who could work in the studio while I was out on tour. And so that allowed the studio to work, kind of full time as it was intended to. There's a number of pivotal moments after that, but I think that looking for ways to kind of, they say, work smart, right? That was one of them for me, and that's still been a great way for me to collaborate with more composers, as opposed to me having to compose every last note for every last project, which is impossible.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so this year, as I mentioned earlier, we're both inside this LinkedIn Creator Accelerator program. The
That's right.
theme is innovation technology. So I love, throughout your LinkedIn, like the videos, the posts you did, you talk so much about AI. And so can you please share with us, how is technology disrupting the traditional music industry?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think it's being disrupted from every angle. Maybe too much in certain cases, but certainly from a standpoint of rights management, a lot of people are looking at ways for new ownership models, like fractional models through whether it's NFTs or musical NFTs, or fractional ownership in tokenization, fractional ownership of songs that you can invest in certain artists through Patreon models, through fractional tokens. I think there's a lot of things that are happening with AI. I still think we are very, very early. I've been testing so many different platforms and documenting them on my LinkedIn during this accelerator program. And I think that what the latest developments allow for people with little to no musical training to enter in and start to follow their interests in creating music in a completely different way that doesn't necessarily require the traditional on-ramp process of going to a music school or learning music theory. It's more about connecting with what you already know about music. Music is an emotional sport. That music, has certain emotions that you are able to describe with your language. And if you're able to do that, then you're able to actually, use text to music generators that will allow you to create some pretty interesting music. But it's still there's still a long way to go. And I'm happy to be here early to kind of document the process and get my hands on the earliest tools, because just like with text prompt to images, it sat at a very kind of rudimentary place for a long time. And then all of a sudden, just a couple months ago, you had platforms like DALL-E and Mid-Journey that just made giant kind of jumps suddenly. And all of a sudden we have these beautiful, stunning, realistic images that just popped up seemingly out of nowhere. Although, of course, we all know those machines were training, around the world, multiple servers, multiple inputs, multiple scientists, tons of research, tons of machine work going on 24/7. And then all of a sudden that kind of lifted off upon itself and just made a huge boost. So music will likely do the same thing. And I can't wait to be there when that happens.
You are the front row. I love that. I actually listen to some of the music you created using AI. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. I love how you said music is an emotional sport. This is the first time that I heard of this. It's such a powerful metaphor. I love that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so to wrap this up, in one of the videos that you mentioned, I think that video captured your journey. And you said something that really, really powerful. I literally watched it like at least 5 times. So you said, your mission is to use emerging technology to enhance music for the purpose of well-being. I'm like, wow, that is profound. So now I have almost in person here. So can you please share with us, elaborate what you mean by that, using emerging technology to enhance music for the purpose of well-being? It just sounds so good.
Absolutely. I mean, it sounds fancier than it is. In its most simplistic form, music has the power to transform you. It has the power to bring you back to a very powerful memory, whether that's the first time you fell in love or something, all the most important moments in history have had a sound or a song. Think about it. You've got a
Mhm.
birth song. That's your birthday. Happy
Mhm.
birthday. You've got a New Year's song. You have a funeral march. You
True.
have, anniversary songs. You have a graduation
Yeah.
song. Music is literally there every part of your life in order to help you commemorate those milestone moments and emotions. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist for, or a lot of fancy language to say, that music helps you, to enhance your well-being. But as we develop more further with technology, I think that a word like biohacking, in the health world, which is just simply looking at data and statistics in order to help optimize your health, can be applied back to music, where there are certain sounds and frequencies that have been used throughout generations and centuries for spiritual reasons, for ceremonial reasons, for liturgical and religious reasons. And it's interesting to evaluate why those sounds became sacred. And we've been doing that with our organization, Tectonic Music, and meeting with different experts and sound ceremony people and traditionalists and musicians and tribal folks, and kind of discussing that and grabbing interesting ingredients and putting those back into the music. And all of it is still at that baseline just to make you feel better. It's for mood enhancement, it's for
Mm.
longevity, it's for your ultimate happiness.
I love that. I learned this from my coach. I actually have a soundtrack of awesomeness. So I have a collection of songs that can really trigger certain emotions. So I listen to them in particular when I'm feeling depressed, when I got rejection, when something's not
Mm.
working in my life. I listen to the music and automatically, instantaneously, the songs, the music just trigger certain emotions. I'm just like feeling so good. So I definitely
That's
hear
so
you.
cool. You got to share that link in the interview notes so that everybody can check yours.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a great idea. Now it makes sense as I talk about this. Can you still hear me? Dana, you look frozen on the screen. I don't know, is my connection or
Oh,
your connection? Okay,
I,
you're
I was saying, yeah, you should share that playlist link so that people will know what inspires you, and maybe we can start a dialogue and people can share the songs that inspire them too. That'd be really cool.
I actually have a collection. I have some. I also collect some music from other people. So yeah, that's such a great idea. Yeah, and if I can add one more thing, because I have parents who listen to this, watch this, and so what advice? You have a very successful career doing what you love. I think the best is that alignment between who you are and what you do. So what tips do you have for young people? Undergraduate or high school student, they're struggling, they're trying to really figure out their life. What tips would you like to say to them?
I would say the same thing that I said at the very beginning of our interview, just to kind
Mm,
of bookend things, that it's really important to try to carve out and put into your regiment
mm,
something each day that you really love to do,
mm,
even if it's just for a couple of minutes, whether that's playing the music you want to play, not just the music that you're assigned to play, whether it's, drawing a picture, writing in your journal, cooking food, playing a sport, whatever it is, if you're able to try to incorporate a little bit of that each day, I think that there's something very powerful in knowing that you've controlled, uh, you know, a part of your the ingredient to your success, but you've also put a strong baseline in knowing that
mm.
you have the ultimate last say in the foundation of being able to really stronghold something that you love and put that as a priority.
I love that. I think lots of young people need to hear that. Many of them just like prioritize exams, test scores. Many students, unfortunately, they don't even know what their passion is, right? Unless a
Mm.
teacher asks them to do something. So I think that's really, really powerful. So thank you so much for such a incredible interview.
You know what? That brings up a very good last point. Because you do a lot of work in terms of finding passion. I really want to talk to you again about this because it's something that everybody struggles with, not only at a young age but
Mm,
throughout life, all the whole way through. Uh, I would actually like to say, if you don't have something that you love to do, that you can put in your baseline. Also, maybe take a small, portion of your day to contemplate that, whether that's, like I said, in a journal or in a meditation or just in a small, private kind of beautiful moment of introspective thought. I don't know if that aligns with your programs and what you have been saying, but I think that that's really, really important, again, for people to come back to that essence of enjoyment and purity and joy in their life, and put that as the baseline of where they interact with the world.
I think it's such a great point. But it's just like people don't do that anymore, especially the younger generation. Either they're consumed by school, exams, and everything, or they're consumed by video games, social media. There's no alone time. I'm just sit
Mm,
here with my
mm.
own thoughts. I think it's getting harder and harder. Almost every single student I work with, they're like, they have no idea what they want to do. It is so easy for you to discover your
Mm.
passion, and many of them have no idea. Even after so many classes, they still have no idea who they are, what they want to do.
When I first joined the World Economic Forum, the first few months were, literally around the clock interviews and Zoom calls and meetings, and everybody wanted to kind of get introduced and try to figure out, okay, since I'm representing arts and culture on this kind of global dialogue in this stage, how are we, relating to science and innovation and STEM? How are we relating to, arts and culture from a different hemisphere? And these conversations and these kind of meetings were very, very engulfing of all of my
Mm,
time and energy. And during that time, I recall that, and just to say, that I was taking my own medicine, taking my own advice. I remember I carved out only 12 minutes every day as soon as I woke up to play a little bit of the music that I
mm,
wanted to play. It's not about
mm,
practice. It's not about, getting
mhm,
better. It was about just kind of, nourishing my own well-being and putting that at the baseline first. Only 12 minutes. So if you only have 1 minute, fine, 1 minute, two
mm,
minutes, 30 seconds, it can build up, right? And that 12 minutes didn't start at 12. I think I started at 2 minutes, and then 5 minutes, 7 minutes, and then got to 12, where I felt I could, it's almost like a musical meditation, where I
mm,
could tune out the rest of the world and really kind of concentrate in on what was most important to me and what made me feel the most resonant and joyful about playing music. So I'm of the belief that, you must build incrementally. If you say that there's a lot of people are not doing it, or almost nobody is doing it, I believe you, but it doesn't mean that they can't start very small and start to build from there.
mm. I love it. I love it. I definitely, I agree with Dan. The authenticity and advice is great. And you're just like, I feel you're so grounded. I think that's such a, gives us like such a great feeling. Like most people, I feel like just like floating, right?
It is not
You,
easy. I'm not going to claim it's easy at all. I mean, I have very difficult moments as well. I've had a lot of challenges in my life, and I think that these fundamental reminders are what helps us get through the best times and the
mm,
toughest times.
mm,
Uh, yeah, it is. I'll never be the first one to claim that anything is easy. It's all been an incremental, hard climb, and the more you are methodical about it, and the more you work on gaining access to knowledge and tools, and the more you work on kind of really uh, hammering those fundamentals over and over again, the greater the chance. You want to give yourself every chance you can. And I'm never going to claim again, it's not easy, but what else are you going to do, right?
yeah,
All you
reminds
can do is try to get better.
exactly. It
Right?
reminds me of the quote, everything worthwhile pursuing is not easy, or something like that.
That's right.
And so I really great. Thank you so much. What a great way to wrap up the interview. So I have your LinkedIn here. Is that the best place for people to connect with you? I
Absolutely.
think you
Yeah.
also have a YouTube channel or any other social media channels.
For sure. Yeah. You can find me at danaleong.com, DANALEONG, or the LinkedIn link that you've displayed there is beautiful as well. And people can link out from there to all the different social media, depending on what they're interested in. We have YouTube videos, Instagram, and, love to keep the conversation going and create more music in the world together.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for such a great interview. Really honored to chat with you,
Thank
Dana.
you,
And
Dr.
I'll see
I.
you. Yeah, I'll see you
Yes.
online.
Okay. Be well. Thank you again.
Bye.